Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the recent events of Prince Harry, his visa, the Hulu documentary that might be coming out, and anything else that I decide that I would like to talk about. So if you want to join me in this video, then you know what to do. Today we have a special guest, which is JD, who is a thoroughbred racehorse from one of my lovely subscribers here. And so here's his video of grabbing his drink of choice.
Grab your drink of choice, and if you want to add a little something, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yummy water.
So I hope you enjoyed JD there, giving his little starring performance, bless his little heart. And if you want to be a star on this channel, whether it's you, your family, your animals, whatever it is, you don't have to be on camera if you're a bit camera shy, then drop it to me, and my email address is going to be coming along the bottom there. They're starting to come in, so people are starting to get a little bit more confident, which I'm loving, and I'm loving the fact that animals are joining in too. So you could be a star on this channel. And so, as JD has said with his drink of choice, let's dive right in. So, those two just keep on coming. So Harry, again, is in the news with regards to his visa application. And I put something over on my Instagram because it caught my eye and I had to put it up because I could not believe that this is coming out of the mouths of the lawyers that are supporting Harry throughout this situation, this court case, and I find it a little bit suspicious that they are the same ones who represented the Biden administration. Take that as you will. Not going to get into the politics of it all, but I just feel that I don't know, I wonder if there's going to be some covering up here. I just get this feeling that this is not going to go anywhere. But anyway, so it's come out, their arguments, obviously the whole premise of this is about whether Harry lied on his visa application form because of some of the things that he has said, some in his book, etc. So apparently now it has come out that they have said that his by his own words in his book of his admitting to drug taking, by admitting to the taking of certain substances, that this should not be, I guess, held against Harry because he could have embellished this, or he did embellish this for sales of his book. Honestly, this is making a mockery of the justice system now. We've already had before where Meghan has perjured herself in a court case and got away with it. Because I'm guessing of who she's married to. Now we have that apparently Harry cannot be called to task because the words in his book were embellishment for sales. Well, what about the times he's admitted that in interviews, like the one with Gabor Mate, is that his name? Where he actually sat and spoke about his excessive drug use. I'm guessing that doesn't count either. Well, honestly, I think at this point, I'm just finding this whole thing slightly bemusing, because if this is the case, if, say, they look at Harry's book and say, okay, we can't take that into account because it's embellishment for the sales of the book, then surely then that blows out the water anything that he has mentioned in that book. In all honesty, it should be anyway, because we know that most of it is lies. But the fact, by his own admittance and the admittance of his lawyers, which would have been okayed by Harry, that this was embellishment. So is it then plausible that he then embellished the stuff about his family, other things, for sales of his book? In which case, I would love to see how the fan base, no, I'm not even going to call them a fan base, they're not, they're a cult, their cult following, spin this one, because they seem to spin absolutely everything. The way that their brain works is astounding to me, when you have the fact that they accuse the royal family of racism, and yet the only proven racist is Harry. But he's forgiven because he married Meghan, who looks whiter than Casper the Ghost until she self-tans, but then forgets to tan her hands. I'd be very interesting to see how they spin this, because this to me is just absolutely unbelievable to say that Harry wrote, or whoever wrote this book, which we also believe that Meghan had a hand in this. We don't know that 100% for sure, but we can garner that she probably did. However, in his book, he would have okayed the publication of the admittance of the amount of drugs he took. So if his lawyer is saying this was embellishment, then surely then it's going to bring into question everything else that he's written in this book. But like I've said, he's also admitted in interviews that he has taken drugs. So again, has he lied on camera, as he has done in many other interviews? To be fair, why this wasn't called into question anyway, I don't know, because nothing else has been brought into question. But we'll see if the media actually picks up on this and actually runs with, so hang on a minute, because so far they haven't. Hang on a minute, Harry is saying that this was embellishment for the sales of his book. So could it be very possible then that he's also embellished on his family, the things that happen within his family, which you and I, because we know that he did, and probably openly, not even embellished, but lied. And this is classic that I have spoken about before, where I believe Harry has histrionic disorder. And this is very classic histrionic, because it's very heavily linked to narcissism, but it's where they embellish on stories to make them seem grander than what they are, or they're more of a victim than what they need to be. And this goes, in my opinion, towards the fact that I believe Harry does have this disorder. I do not understand how they can actually put this, and the way I view Harry's personality is, like I've said, I believe he has arrested development as well. And a lot of that is down to the copious amount of drugs and alcohol that he has taken, probably from a very young age. Because his behaviour is very conducive to someone that is of a younger age, rather than somebody who is nearly 40 years old. You've only got to look at the way he acts to see that. He is very emotionally immature in my mind. Obviously, if you guys disagree with me, then of course, but that's how I view this. So let me know, before we go on to the next thing, what you think about that. Do you have any thoughts and opinions around Harry's lawyer saying that this was this was embellished for the book and can't be taken seriously? I mean, to be fair, none of people that watch this type of channel, we didn't really take him serious anyway. But the fact that the media jumped on some of the things in Harry's book and ran with it, and made alongside, because I've always said the media are just as bad, but made the life of the royal family, hell along with those two. When actually what they should have done was their due diligence and actually looked into a lot of the things in Harry's book and called him out for some of the lies that he has said. But they didn't. They just ran with it, a bit like they did with the Oprah interview. So yeah, I think the media are just as culpable in this as well, but we'll see if they actually decide to call into question everything that Harry has ever said in his book, and maybe that the media should give the royal family a big whopping apology, which I don't think they will do anyway. So then we have that apparently Harry is bringing out a documentary for Hulu, which is very interesting because Hulu is connected to Disney, because it seemed that there was rumours of them courting Paramount because apparently Netflix is done. They are not renewing their contract in 2025 when it is up for renewal. They're not doing it because they haven't actually done anything. And to be fair, they haven't actually really done anything. The only thing that can be considered popular was their mocu-series, but we all know why that was, because we were all sitting there wanting to see exactly what they were saying about the royal family. I think people tuned in because you had journalists tuning in to obviously comment on the things that they were saying. The rest of us was not that I watched it, but the rest of us were sort of looking in to see really what they were going to be lying about, and of course they did on many occasions. That was the only thing that has been deemed a success by Harry and Meghan. Even when, because Invictus is not being, I believe, filmed or shown on Netflix. And I would imagine that's because when they showed it last year, it did not even go into the top 10. So it's very possible that this was now filmed and Netflix have said, we're not interested. Because I would imagine that Harry and Meghan would have to get the sign off from Netflix because they have the contract with them. So it's interesting that they've then gone with Hulu, which is also partnered with Disney Plus. Now, I'm sure that now, if it's possible that they're going to be going to Disney, then I would imagine let's watch the sales of Disney plummet as people start cancelling their subscription with Disney as soon as they realise that those two are attached to it. And Disney, I think, will run the same way. They will think, again, it's possible that they're looking at the mocu-series and thinking, well, there's money there because that was very popular. But I think what they don't realise, if they haven't done their due diligence, I don't know why, but I really like that word, that it was probably a one-trick pony. Because it seems that Netflix, is it Into the Lake or something it's called, where they're doing, apparently Harry and Meghan are producing this series or film or something. And in all fairness, I don't know if I would see that as, that's not going to be very popular. They haven't taken the new Invictus on, and to be fair, quite rightly so, really, because it wasn't about the veterans, it was the Harry and Meghan show. So I think that it's very possible that they're now trying to court another streaming service to air some of their productions or whatever it is that they're doing, who knows. We already know that Meghan has signed on with Lemonada, which is what I call a very small, and in a way it just shows how backwards, in a sense, she's kind of going, because when you sign up with Spotify, you don't then go from Spotify to a company that no one's ever really heard of. Now, in some ways, I guess good for the company if you're looking at it from a business perspective, because it's putting them on the map. Whether or not you aligning with Harry or Meghan is going to be good for you, it doesn't matter. In their eyes, it's actually now making them known. So I can understand it from a business perspective. Long term, we'll see if that does make a difference. I don't know. What was interesting, though, is that Netflix has just recently done the SAG Awards. And Netflix, and I watched it purely and simply because I actually wanted to see if Harry and Meghan were there. They weren't. And I find this very bizarre. You have literally the who's who of Hollywood was there. Just all the top people were there, and this was connected to Netflix. Now, bearing in mind that to the cult, their mocu-series was deemed as a raging success. Why weren't they there? Why were they not presenting an award or giving an award, etc. And I feel this is very, very telling when you have got the who's who of Hollywood turning up to an event that is in a sense connected to them, because whether or not you like them, don't like them, that particular mocu-series did get views. So why were they, and they have signed on with Netflix, but why did Netflix not invite them to this award ceremony? It was a big deal. I find that very, very interesting indeed, that she wasn't invited, or he wasn't invited, not even to hand out an award. Not that I could see. I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch it right up until the end, but when you're watching the beginning, when they were turning up, because I think that was what I wanted to see, if they were turning up and being in front of the camera, nothing at all. So I found that very, very telling, that it does feel to me that they are being shunned by the people that are credible. It's like, what I would imagine is people are possibly saying who are higher up on the, like when you're talking A-list, because Reese Witherspoon was there, I noticed. Oprah was there. So again, they're supposedly friends. And then we have her coming out, Meghan being seen out and about. She was, I think, there was where she had dinner with somebody that was connected to Oprah. And I think that this is what they do. They schmooze. Is that the word? They schmooze people publicly, call up the paparazzi to make it seem like they're actually doing something, like they're being sought after. They put out these feelers, like this whole thing with Hulu and Disney. I wonder, I mean, I don't know if they've been signed with Disney or not, but I think that they almost, they kind of put things out in advance in a hope that someone's going to pick up on it. So it's very possible that then, that someone's going to go, or Paramount's going to go, oh, we don't want Disney having them, let's sign them up. I think that they are, the manipulation that they do is probably the same as what a lot of celebrities do, but they're more so because they're desperate to keep this momentum of rebranding going, and it's not going anywhere. No one's really interested. And I think this is where her frustration will come into this, where she's being seen out and about. And this, again, like coming out, it's all about her, the way she dresses, etc. And I think it's just this desperation to be picked up by somebody credible, because there isn't anybody. And I do wonder, like I say, if a lot of the A-listers are, in a way, blacklisting them, blackballing them, and saying, if they turn up, we're not turning up. And because they're more credible, of course, a lot of these companies are going with them and saying, well, we won't have them here. But it's very interesting to me that Netflix, who have them signed, have allowed, if they have, Hulu to stream something that I'm guessing usually would have been streamed by them because they have the contract with them. So either they've done something that they shouldn't have done, and gone with somebody else because they've got money for it, or Netflix have just said, yeah, at this point we actually don't care anymore, so yeah, go for it, hand it out, we don't care. I don't know how it kind of works, but it does seem a bit odd to me. And I do wonder if they're trying to court, maybe Paramount has turned them down, or they're trying to court Disney now. But like I say, I think the subscriptions to any platform they're on will get cancelled because they just are not liked. And it doesn't matter what they do. People are siding more and more with the royal family. They're siding more and more with, with what's good. And they are good people. They're not perfect, but they're good people. Speaking of which, I've had quite a few sort of emails and comments from people about why I'm not talking about Princess Catherine. So I wanted to clear that up here, just so you guys understand. I have seen on the internet some horrendous things being said. I've seen a lot of speculation. And if I'm honest, I don't want to join in with that. Of course, my concerns are with the fact that we have not seen Princess Catherine, and I am really, really hoping that she is okay. And I have my own thoughts and feelings on this, but I don't want to add to, because I don't know. Now, the difference when I speak about some of the things about Harry and Meghan is the fact that I have eyes, ears, I can read, I understand body language, etc. So I can garner a lot of things from my professional experience, my personal experience, and what I see, think, feel, hear, whatever it is. There hasn't been anything in regards to, it's not like we've seen Princess Catherine out and about, and then I can kind of look at some of the body language and kind of go, okay, I can ascertain this from that. There isn't anything. So then it becomes pure speculation. And I think there's enough of that out there. I want to respect the royal family's wishes in her being able to deal with these things privately. And as much as I don't think for 1 second that she is going to see my channel or any one of the royal family is going to see my channel, but that's what it means to me. In my being sort of integral as a person, in not adding to the speculation and all the gossip and things that are kind of going around about her. I feel that when she's ready, or when the royal family are ready, they will come out in due time and let us know how she is. And I'm, in the meantime, just going to respect the fact that they are taking this time as a family to heal whatever sort of is kind of going on with her and her well-being. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I didn't want people to think that I wasn't talking about it because I don't care, or because it doesn't interest me. It's nothing to do with that. I'm just choosing to respect the wishes of the royal family, and it just feels the right thing to do. So I also want to point out something else in regards to, I just saw a little segment in the paper about, obviously there's a lot of speculation in regards to who is going to get in for election, obviously in the United States. And again, I don't go into the political side of things, but I did find this a little bit humorous in regards to that Donald Trump come out and made a statement in regards to Prince Harry. And he has basically said in a nutshell that if he does come and he does get in, and I don't know because I don't understand it, but if he does, then by all accounts, they are going to be in trouble. So I have a feeling that if he does get in, he is not going to let them, because he feels, I'm guessing from what he said, that the Biden administration have literally allowed them to just come in, swan in, and just act like royals in America when you fought a war to not have them there. So yeah, it's I think that they are going to be, if he does get in, and like I say, I don't know because I don't understand the whole political side of things and etc. But if he does, then yeah, there could be trouble ahead. There could be trouble ahead. Watch this space. Could be interesting to see what happens, because I've thought this. I have thought to myself, they swan around as if they are almost like the equivalent of the president and the first lady. The way they act out there, and I don't understand how some, not all, and I know that pretty much all of us here, who are American on this channel, don't put up with it, but there are some that do, and I just find that quite bemusing. And maybe that is why they are being sort of gone against, where people are sort of blacklisting them in a sense in certain places, because they are not happy with the way that Prince Harry has kind of come over there, and he's started to talk about, let's say, the First Amendment being bonkers, and what gives him the right to come over there and decide that? Nothing. I mean, I don't know enough about the political side of things, but I would know enough to understand that you don't just go to another country and decide to start ridiculing years of what has created them to be the country they are. If they want to change things, that's entirely their right to do so, but not as a British prince to go over there and call it bonkers, and then try and decide that you're going to censor some of the very things that the core foundation of the country. Who do you think you are? So how this has been kind of left to go as far as it has, in my opinion, I don't know. But I think it's pretty appalling, if I'm honest, that he has been allowed to even infiltrate to the level he has. And I've said before that I think there is someone puppeteering this. I don't think it's just Meghan. Like I've said before, they are both, in my opinion, as bad as each other now. In fact, I think, like I've said before, Harry has always been this type of person. The problem you have here is that now he doesn't have the protection of his family. Now he's starting to realise what it means to be on his own, because Meghan certainly isn't going to protect him. She's going to protect herself before anything else. So he hasn't got the protection of his family now, which is why I've said before that we are getting Harry acting out. He wants... I do think he wants back in. I don't necessarily feel that he wants to live back in the UK again. I don't believe he probably does. But I think he certainly wants to do the half in, half out thing. And because he's getting shut down and he's not getting what he wants, like a child, he's throwing his toys out of the pram, which is what I think, like I've said, the Sussex website was all about. It's like, fine, if you're not going to give me what I want, I'm going to antagonise you that little bit more. And they're both as bad as each other with that. I think Meghan is more malicious, and I think that there is a more dangerous element to Meghan. Whereas with Harry, he's almost, like I say, he's like a teenager that's throwing a strop. Fine, if you won't give me what I want, then I'm going to do this. And that's, in a way, how Harry behaves. But you put the two of them together, and their alignment of trying to undermine the royal family, because I've had people say they're trying to take down the royal family. I don't think they're trying to take down the royal family, because without the royal family, they're nothing. If they take down the royal family, who are they? He's no longer Prince Harry. She's not Meghan Markle married to a prince. They're just Harry and Meghan, and they might have a little bit of money because they're obviously from that background, but that's going to be it. It's going to be nothing. What I think they're trying to do is undermine the royal family. They're trying to make the royal family less popular, so then they rise up in popularity and become more popular. And I think that that's what they're trying to do. However, it's just failed at every turn. And the reason it's failing is, if we put this in the real world, when you're a decent, nice person, people tend to be drawn to you. If you're not a very nice person, even if you fake it, at some point it's going to come out. At some point you're going to start seeing the truth. Now, the only reason some people get away with it is because maybe they're faking it is for short bursts. So you can get away with something to a degree. But when you are like the royal family, when they're out and about all the time, when they're faced with situations and they have to think quickly, sooner or later, if they were faking it, you'd see it. That's why we've seen the mask slips with Meghan. That's why we've seen the way Harry is at times, because they can only sustain it for so long. So people are very drawn, good people. So what you'll find is the only type of people that will align with Harry and Meghan are people that are like Harry and Meghan. Hence why we have the cult, who are vicious and nasty and manipulative and try to twist things, because they're very much like Harry and Meghan. But the majority of people are like people like the royal family. They're genuine, good, honest, down-to-earth people. And so what they tend to do is, after a while, even if they started to believe Harry and Meghan, what you'll find is, like you've heard probably more often than not, people going, you know what, when they first got here, I was all for them. Whereas now they've seen the truth. And so now they're actually going, hang on a minute, actually. So now I'm going to decide I'm going to support the royal family, because what they're seeing is a family that's just trying to get on with things. They're not out there in the public eye slating them, the two of them, because apparently in Harry's new documentary, he talks again about his family. What's come up is how jealous William is of Harry's Invictus. And I would say it's actually, it's the opposite. What you'll find with someone like Harry is the more he talks, the more it's more about him. So when he says William is jealous, what I would say is that that's Harry that's jealous. What has William got to be jealous about? William strikes me as a sort of person that would be very supportive of his brother. Hence why, when he got that payout, he gave that to his brother for Invictus. He was also part of the instrumental star of Invictus. So William is the sort of person that would believe that it's about the veterans. What he's probably infuriated about, which most people is infuriated about, is the fact that Harry's making it about him and Meghan and not about what it's supposed to be. So But Harry would use that as jealousy, that, you know, if William gets angry about something, oh, it's because you're jealous, because that's how Harry thinks. So what I would imagine is that Harry's jealousy of his brother, he can't stand the fact that his brother is more popular than him. So every chance he gets, he tries to undermine his brother. But what he fails to realize, which a lot of people do when they have this mindset, is the more that you do this, the worse you look to credible people, to decent people. The only people that might align with your way of thinking are people that think along the same as you, which is why he has the fan base he has and why she does as well. And so more and more people are coming out in support of the royal family, which is why, in a sense, the royal family doing nothing was the best thing that they could have done. Now, I understand to a lot of us, it's frustrating that it feels that there's no real consequence for Harry and Meghan. But, okay, yes, they get column inches in the media. But other than that, like I've said before, they don't have anything else. That's literally all they have. Nobody else wants anything to do with them. Not anyone credible, really. The only thing that Harry has left is Invictus. And even that, he is possibly going to end up losing because he is now, his ego is taking over and he's making it all about him. That interview that he did, I'm hoping that the interview or whatever it is that he's doing for Hulu actually highlights the veterans, because that interview was literally about him and not about him in a way. It was like a non-interview about nothingness. And then all the footage was Harry and Meghan walking around. Harry doing what he was doing. There was nothing really about the veterans. Why was the interview not with the veterans? You know, not being funny, but you've interviewed Harry enough times. Nothing's changed. Just interview the veterans. You know, it's just crazy to me. And to me, Harry lets his ego get the better of him because William, who's got Earthshot, by the way, which is so much more successful, which is sad because Invictus should be successful because it's about the veterans, but it's not. And that's what Harry's done. He's damaged Invictus. So to say that William is potentially jealous, and even if he was, the fact again is that Harry feels the need to talk about this publicly. He's talking about his family in a negative light, and that is what I feel the Americans now are moving against, because if nothing else, they're about family. And the Brits are too, but I think Americans are very much about family. And so to see somebody constantly trash talking their family in public is just a no-go. And how Harry has not got this yet, I'm a bit dumbfounded as to why he hasn't got this yet. I don't know who is there kind of going, I mean, aside from Meghan going, yes, well done, Harry. Keep talking about your family. Yay. Great stuff. I don't know. But anyway, so if you've enjoyed this video, let me have a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, then please think about doing so because it does help the algorithm. If you haven't... If you don't want to watch all of the video and you're going to sign off now, please, I ask if you could just fast forward to the end, because it does then count as a view. For some reason, and I don't know why, that if you cut off the video, I think you have to watch at least, is it 5 minutes? But then you fast forward it to the end and then that counts as a view. I don't know why. It's just a weird out. This is what I found out because... I was just interested to find out how the views work. If you would like to treat me to a cuppa to support what I do here, and that is offering free therapy for people who struggle financially, then that would be amazing. And I also use it towards the giveaways that I do. I have one in the summer and then one at Christmas time. So you can do that too. It is not obligatory because, as I always say, please look after yourself first and foremost. You are more important than this channel. If you would like to write to me or send me something, I do have a PO box. It is in the description box below, and it's also in the bio of my channel. You can join me on the other platforms that I have: Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. You can join my Tea and Therapy channel, where I have got some videos over there on mental health advice or tips on narcissism, etc. I will be doing more, but just trying to find my feet with doing this at the moment. What else? I think that's, yeah, that's it. You can buy my bubble merchandise if you so choose. You would like to buy yourself a journal or a mug where you can have a cuppa with me. You can. That was also in the description box below. And pretty much everything that you need to know. If you want to, like I say, if you want to send me a video of doing your drink of choice, you can do. My email is there as well. But yeah, so that's kind of everything is there. Everything. And I know I repeat this everything. I also want to apologise for the fact that there was this weird small screen in my last video. I don't know what happened. I'm a technophobe. I tried a new editing software and fluffed it up. Something awful, where I was like a size of a postage stamp, which might have worked for some people, but for some of you it didn't. So I do apologise. Hopefully this one will be fine. But if it's not, then you can zoom in. So you just open the screen and you get my face in full view. Lucky you. So yeah. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you in the next video. But as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.